Halloween has always been my favorite time of the year. At least it used to be. Before 2023, Halloween was just costumes, candy, loud music, and fun. But after what happened that night, I can't even look at a carved pumpkin without feeling something watching me. This happened when I was 22 years old. At the time, I worked at a small community center. Every Halloween, we hosted a kids' festival, games, pumpkin painting, a haunted hallway, the usual stuff. That year was especially busy, so by the time I got home, I was exhausted in a way I can't even describe. My feet were throbbing, my back felt broken, and all I wanted was to collapse into bed and sleep for 12 hours straight. But life had other plans. Barely 10 minutes after I got home, my phone rang. It was my younger sister, Savannah. She was 15, and my 11-year-old nephew, Jackson, was with her. "Can you take us tree court reading?" she asked, sounding hopeful. I rubbed my eyes. "Right now? Isn't Mom or someone there?" "No one else is going," Savannah groaned. "Please?" "Jackson's been waiting all week." I sighed, forced myself to stand, and said what every tired older brother ends up saying. "Fine, give me 10 minutes." I put on a hoodie, grabbed my keys, and drove to their place. When they came out, Savannah was dressed like a gothic raven, pale makeup, dark eyes, black dress. Jackson was dressed as Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat. Their excitement made me smile despite being dead tired, and so we went. The neighborhood we went to was crowded, loud, and full of decorations. Fog machines filled the sidewalks. Strings of orange lights wrapped around trees. People laughed, music played, and kids ran from house to house swinging bags full of candy. For about an hour, everything was perfect. The kids were having fun. I got some great pictures. Even I felt like maybe this wouldn't be so bad. But Halloween has a way of changing fast. The deeper the night goes, the darker it gets. And something about that darkness felt wrong. It was around the time when families start heading home. The sidewalks grew quieter. Most porch lights turned off. That crowded neighborhood slowly became empty. We were walking back toward my car when I noticed a shape on the opposite side of the street, a person standing perfectly still in the front yard of a dark house. No porch light, no decorations, no movement, just a tall silhouette wearing all black. At first I thought it was a Halloween decoration, the kind people stick in their yard to scare kids. But the longer I stared, the more I realized this one was breathing, slow, heavy, barely noticeable, but real. I stopped walking. Savannah stopped too. She whispered, "Do you see that?" "Yeah," I murmured, Jackson, oblivious, kept swinging his candy bucket. The figure had a long black cloak that seemed to move even though there was no wind. And behind that dark fabric, two white eyes reflected the dim street light. Not blinking, not looking away, just staring, watching, studying, We kept walking, trying to pretend nothing was wrong. My heart was hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. After maybe 20 seconds, I heard footsteps behind us. I turned just slightly. The figure was now on our side of the street, closer and following us. Savannah's breath trembled. Jackson finally noticed the tension and grabbed my sleeve. "Who is that?" "I don't know," I whispered. "Stay close." The footsteps matched our speed. If we slowed, they slowed. If we sped up, they sped up. No words, no sound except boots on pavement. The neighborhood was silent now. Every house looked dead. Not a single porch light was left on. It felt like the world had emptied, except for us. And whatever this thing was, when we reached my car, the figure was only a few feet behind us, close enough that I could hear their breathing, a slow rasp like someone breathing into a mask. I told the kids, "Get in, now." As they climbed into the back seat, I turned around completely for the first time. That's when the figure stepped forward and into the glow of the street lamp. It wasn't a man. It wasn't a decoration. It was a woman wearing full tactical gear, black vest, black pants, black boots, gloves, holster, everything. But her face was covered in a dark mask with no features at all. Just smooth black plastic, like something out of a nightmare. I slowly reached into my bag, pulled out the legal self-defense pistol I kept for safety, and pointed it down, not at her, but enough to show I had it. "Why are you following us?" I said, my voice shaking. For a moment, she didn't move, didn't speak, didn't react. Then she lifted her hands and removed her mask. Her face looked normal, too normal. Her expression was completely blank. No emotion, no fear, no anger, just emptiness. And her eyes, they were wrong. Not wide, not angry, just hollow. Like she wasn't really there. Like someone else was controlling her from inside a dead shell. She spoke in a flat, robotic tone. "I am an undercover officer. You are acting suspicious. I followed you for safety." A lie. I felt it instantly. She had been standing in a dark yard, in a cloak, watching us. Who does that? What cop dresses like a shadow monster? Savannah whispered. "She's not a cop." I knew she was right. Then the woman smiled. Not a normal smile, not a friendly smile. A slow, unnatural, stretched out grin, like she was learning how to smile for the first time. "If you didn't have that weapon," she said softly, "tonight would have ended very differently." And then she tilted her head, as if listening to something behind her. That's when 3 more figures stepped out from between houses, all dressed in black, all wearing masks, all with that same hollow dead stare, and they started walking toward us. I didn't think, I didn't ask questions. I threw myself into the driver's seat and slammed the door. "Seatbelt," I yelled. Savannah and Jackson were already crying. The figures kept getting closer. I turned the key. The engine roared to life. One of them reached out toward the back window. Just inches away, I floored it. The tires screeched. The car shot forward, and those figures disappeared into the dark behind us. But the woman in tactical gear stood in the middle of the street, watching us leave, and she was still smiling for days. I kept checking the windows, the locks, the parking lot. I barely slept. 5 days later, I got a text from an unknown number. No message, just a photo, a picture of my car, parked in my apartment, taken from just a few feet away. My blood went cold. They knew where I lived. I called the police, but unless someone threatens you or breaks in, they can't do anything. The officer asked, "Did you actually see her follow you home?" "No." "Then there's nothing to prove she took the picture." And that was it. Case closed. Ended. Ignored. Dismissed. A week later, I went back to the house where I had first seen her standing. I needed answers, closure, something. The man who lived there opened the door. He looked confused. "No one stood in my yard that night," he said. "I went to bed early. Didn't even open the door for trick-or-treaters." My stomach twisted into a knot. "Are you sure?" I asked. He nodded. Positive. There was no one here, but I knew what I saw. And I knew she was waiting for us, watching us, tracking us. She knew our faces, our names, our car, our home. And the worst part, she wasn't alone. It's been 2 years now. No texts, no pictures, no confrontation. But sometimes when I'm driving at night, I swear I see someone standing far away, in a yacht, or behind a tree, or at the corner of a parking lot, wearing all black. Not moving, just watching. And I can never prove it, never get close enough, never see her face again. But I don't need to. I already know it's her. And I know she remembers this. Some people say Halloween brings out monsters. Others say it brings out the worst in humans. But that night, I learned the truth. Some things walk in our world wearing human faces, but they aren't human at all. And they're always watching, always waiting for the right night and the right victim. Halloween is their favorite